I don't know how this movie had 2 taglines when I can't find them for almost any other movie we do.
That was half the budget, was finding
Coming up,
taglines.
coming up with 2 taglines.
Half of the $80 budget.
All right. From the heart of the California hills comes a close encounter of the prehistoric kind. Also, he's mean, he's green, and he's mad. He's Ganjasaurus Rex. Welcome to Happy Suffer.
What? Alright, they should have spent more than $40 on taglines.
Yeah, honestly.
Promising a lot more than what we got.
He's mean and green, and I guess kind of angry.
He's more like ugly and lumpy and like I don't even know what color it is. Aqua.
His head is an alarming shape.
I wanna talk about the human nose that it had.
Oh,
why?
Weird.
What a weird choice. Nostrils?
He's so smooth.
How's he supposed to smell those dank nugs if he doesn't have nostrils?
Like a
fair point.
This thing was not a Rex. It was shaped so weird too.
Ganjasaurus Steve.
He's very alarming.
Hot take, this was not a Rex.
It wasn't.
This is episode 201 of I Be Suffer. My name's Nathan.
I'm Kit.
I'm Katie.
This week we are talking about the best kaiju movie ever made, Ganjasaurus Rex from 1987. With
good year.
Yeah, nothing good happened that year. With
well, excuse you.
Dylan from Diary of Doom is here because, of course,
I'm the foremost expert in Ganjasauri.
Dylan is going to tell us if this is a Rex or not.
Yeah, he can help us identify.
It was something special. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, this movie, perfect cinema, no complaints.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys are just you're calling it quits, right? After this you're done.
Yeah, I think we found the best movie.
He was too smooth. His smoothness has forced me out of cinema. I've slid right off of it.
I just love how blurry he is on like the poster art for it.
Like someone took a screenshot or like a picture with their cell phone, and then someone took a picture of the picture on that phone, and then someone took another picture of that phone's picture of the picture
I
with a camera.
Love that, like you said, how smooth he is. Like, it's like they made the mold and we're just like, yeah, it's good enough. Don't worry about giving him detail.
The quality is so shit, no one's gonna notice.
Certainly nobody will notice this creature that has the same threatening aura as, the putties from fucking Power Rangers. And honestly, those guys are more intimidating than this. Like,
absolutely.
Whew. I looked up, I Googled it and looked up a GIF, and the GIF explained everything. And as soon as I watched it move, I said, I know exactly what this is going to be.
Perfect.
And yeah, it was perfect. It was, I think, Nathan, I gotta say, I think you're a bit of a paleontologist, because I think you've unearthed like a primitive version of Full Moon Pictures here. Like, that's what this is. It's just primitive Full Moon Pictures.
I can't remember how I even came across this, because usually the way I'll find movies is on Letterboxd. I'll just kind of like flip through like actors or directors, shit like that, just like looking for weird shit. But like all of the people associated with this movie have only done this movie. Like I don't remember how I stumbled across it.
Even Ganjasaurus?
No, I'm pretty
You
sure
never
he
thought of
ran
anything?
for. I'm pretty sure he ran for governor when Arnold was running
the
against
fucking-
Gary Coleman.
The Gray Davis recall or whatever.
Yes, the Gray Davis recall. I think Ganjasaurus Rex came in on a full marijuana legalization. I don't even know if marijuana was legal in California by that point.
I can't remember. I want to say no.
We're talking circa Gray Davis, not circa Ganjasaurus Rex.
Oh, definitely wasn't at that point. I've saw like people talking about how this movie was made. Like, I can't tell if people are just like making shit up or if there was like a legitimate thing about this being made to like try to help get weed legalized in California, and I'm like, this isn't the way to do it.
Well, okay, so here's my problem with the movie is that I can appreciate an attempt at being intentionally bad, and I think you've probably reviewed some movies that are like that. I mean, this immediately made me think of The Velocipaster, except that movie succeeded in its intentional badness. This movie, I mean, it, not to bury the lead, but it was made on like a fucking like personal VHS recorder or camcorder.
It's literally a shot on video movie.
I mean, the timestamp just like shows up. It's not even all shot. There's archival footage of like FBI and police raids on marijuana growing farms and stuff, and you just see this like blipping timestamp of, you know, whatever it is, you know, March 1985 or what have you. So the fact that a movie like Overdrawn at the Memory Bank has better production value than this is saying something. This is like public access TV level quality. And like, I'm kind of here for it, but it's also terrible.
I'm about to drop $300 on an unopened VHS copy.
I'm
Oh, I was-
going
I was
to
on-
drive to your house and make sure you don't do that.
You can get a used one for $75.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
this
God.
this one's unopened. I get that perfect Ganjasaurus smell when I open it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was a movie that
Is it?
I mean, in as much as it's an hour and a half long.
I felt like I was kind of making fun of kids when I was watching it. Does that make any sense?
Like the movie Kids?
I love where your brain goes. No, like I feel like I was making fun of kids that tried to do a project for school and it's bad, but everyone's like, "Oh, haha,"
Trying
you
their
know.
best.
Oh
They
no,
tried their
this
best.
was absolutely made by what I can only assume is very stoned adults.
I'm just continually finding between the movies that I watch that are about marijuana is that like just there's not a lot of good production value in cannabis movies.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised to hear that.
Unless you're
be
like,
Me too.
unless you're fucking Seth Rogen, who can get any money they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're, you know, Charles Band.
He does. Charles Band spends all of his money paying his brother to make the scores to his movies that are all shot in the same place with the same 8 actors.
At least this was shot in, you know, a town. I was amazed they got like extras for this.
There's so many too, actually.
There's so many people in this movie.
Yeah.
Not like famous people. I'm just saying there's a lot of
Yeah, it's just
random
humans.
people.
Just people, yeah.
Bodies.
They're all trying to get that weed legalized in 1987. And didn't
Hell of a
work.
campaign.
This you know what? I'm
not-
going to say this movie is the reason weed got legal in California.
I'm not really sure, like, what the plot of this movie does for marijuana. Like,
It kind of
In the
made me
end, the
hate
thing that they-
marijuana.
well, it was like, in the end, the thing that they were trying to do with the marijuana didn't even work. So, like, what?
I mean,
I'm not
By the
really
end of it.
sure.
by the end of it, I was like, maybe weed was a mistake.
What if all of your weed looked like Ganjasaurus Rex, though?
Sick.
That would
Done.
be cool.
Uh-oh. My Wii does look like Ganjasaurus Rex.
I just scrolling
It's
through
smooth?
Letterbox. I was like, who the fuck rated this 5 stars? I was like, wait, that's me.
You did.
Are you the only person?
No, there's a
You
couple other
bastard.
ones.
Stars are there?
There's at least a couple reviews. 9 people gave it 5 stars
You're in exclusive
Wow.
company.
out of 179 people.
That is like 170 more than I was expecting.
That's all the people that were in the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. Now I just made a second screen appear that has Kit's avatar in it. So now I have two trolls smirking at me. Okay, it's gone.
Yeah, that's slowly. It's like what
You're
you
welcome.
don't realize is we're just trying to get a virus on your computer, and it's just gonna be that picture. All right, Katie, try to tell us the plot of this movie.
Okay. Shockingly, don't have that many pages of notes. But
One page.
I-
Ganjasaurus appears.
I took a lot of notes.
well, let's just
Plot
see.
notes and then just the pages of what the fuck don't count.
Yeah. What?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay.
Okay,
To be
all right.
fair- Yeah. To be fair, like, I had more feelings about our 20-minute conversation that we had before recording about mayonnaise than I had about this movie. So we'll see how it goes.
Let's just talk about mayonnaise instead.
We were having a
We
very
literally-
detailed
I was on a
conversation
roll.
on if mayonnaise will kill lice, and then somehow I think that like spun off from the idea that in New Jersey yogurt is just mayonnaise with fruit in it.
Okay, so which one of you has lice? And
I don't know why we were talking about it. to
It's because I was
begin
talking about
with,
how
to be
my
honest
fucking
with you.
boss is obsessed with the idea that fucking yogurt is a big Easter seller. Like, he was like, oh, we sell like a bunch of yogurt leading up to Easter. And I was like, okay, bro.
Oh, because yeah,
What?
I said I would understand if it was eggs, and then Kit said, "What if the yogurt is just smashed eggs?" And then
I was
it
like,
spun
just
off
mayonnaise.
Like Go-Gurt.
into like yogurt with fruit or mayonnaise and with fruit in it and shit, and it was literally like a 20-minute conversation. So
So basically,
But
Kit and I are
Katie's
about to.
following the office advice about putting mayonnaise in her hair.
yeah, that's
Very
right.
weird.
Kit and I are going to quit our jobs by starting a
No, Kit
mayonnaise
said-
Go-Gurt thing.
Yeah.
Said he was going to put mayonnaise in his hair, and then I said, "Oh, well, isn't that good for lice?" And then I was like, "Well, I don't know if that's real, but I saw it on The Office." And then they were Googling it, and it was a whole thing. And
I completely forgot
Yeah.
all of this. I'm glad we were able to piece this all back together.
all right,
I still think
Ganjasaurus.
Stronananaise is a winner.
I mean, I'm in.
I'm gonna
Chuck's a
fucking-
banana.
I'm gonna lube up my next sandwich with that stuff.
I'm gonna
please try it.
we'll make Katie do one of those food
Oh,
trying videos
you know-
for Patreon.
Sure.
Does that.
with,
No.
with the straw mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Oh,
Strawberry
no.
mayonnaise.
I almost threw up when I tried those Thanksgiving dinner jelly beans. I think I will actually throw up if I
Oh.
have to eat straw mayonnaise.
You should have the Thanksgiving
Oh, yeah.
dinner Jones soda.
That sounds fine to me. Oh, wait. No. I would, maybe those would be okay. I was really tempted to get the ranch and the pickle ones, but I didn't. So if you guys want to subscribe to our Patreon and send us money, I will try that.
I have a
stuff,
bottle of the ranch one I could send you.
but-
Hear me
I very recently, speaking of mayonnaise, somebody recently confessed that I don't know why they would confess this, but and I don't know where it stemmed from, but I was talking to some people and described the term chugga-squee, which if you like heavy metal, you should know what chugga-squee is. But a non-heavy metal listener, friend of mine's description of chugga-squee was squeezing a water balloon full of mayonnaise, which led to this person confessing that they once used, not my friend, this other person, that they once used mayonnaise as a lubricant.
I
No.
knew you were going to say that, and I hate it. Ew. That's, I don't.
Welcome.
I only bring the best content.
The only question I have is how old were they? Because horny teenage boys like do
I don't
weird
know.
shit.
Knowing that person, it honestly could have been like a
2
month
weeks ago.
prior. Yeah.
The day before. Funny that you
It's
said
like,
mayonnaise.
Funny you say that.
yeah.
I'm currently doing this.
I'm currently
Ew.
jacking it with some mayo.
No, because you guys also missed the part of the conversation where I said I can barely stand mayonnaise, and I can't stand the smell of it either. So like,
That's why the Strawnana is there.
Yeah. Cover up that mayo taste.
Yeah, cover up that egg smell.
You can tell that we do not want to talk about Ganjasaurus Rex.
Well,
Mayosaurus Rex.
What kind of weird mayo do you think Ganjasaurus Rex would eat?
I think
thought you were
he's
gonna ask
actually
Steve to jerk
he
off.
is. I think he. God, I think he is actually just old mayo. That's what he is.
that suit is
That's
filled
why-
with old mayo.
That's
Yeah.
why he's that dark green,
Yes.
I'm convinced he's
been
just
rotting in the back of the fridge.
Gumby's dad.
Yeah, he's Gumby's predecessor.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't trying to talk about mayonnaise for another 20 minutes,
Why
so that was my bad.
Can't bring up mayonnaise
Okay,
around
so-
me and Kit. It's just
Well, obviously.
We spiral.
Okay. So Ganjasaurus Rex takes place off the lost coast of California. Not sure what that means. I don't think any part of California is undiscovered, but sure.
By 87. I don't
yeah,
know.
they were still finding places in '87.
Yeah.
I think they
Wow.
found Oregon in '87.
That was its founding.
Yes.
Portland, established 1987.
Definitely. So we're getting like shots of the beach and shit with scatting over top of it. So
Did you love the production company, Prehistoric Productions, and Real People Media?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was amazing. I love those companies. They make
The
amazing movies.
only companies I've watched movies from now.
I am unsure what this Ganjasaurus Rex is made out of. I wrote claymation ? I'm not really sure what's happening.
It's definitely clay. It's just
Actually,
it's just clay that
it's
they
like-
just lumped together and then didn't give any definition to. They just
It's
put
like
eyes and a
I
nose.
don't know if it is. You can keep talking, but I think I was reading about it, and I'll see if I can find the thing that described what Ganjasaurus Rex is made out of.
God, I
Okay,
hope
because
it's
like
mayonnaise.
this shot of it looks, oh my god, rotted mayonnaise. This shot of it looks claymation, but then other shots of it looks like just a prop head with, like I said, a human nose. But then like also rubber, like whenever they show his feet or him grabbing or she grabbing something,
spoiler.
Oh, right.
rubber. I don't know why movies are so obsessed with the gender of these creatures. Like we ran into this with the Godzilla thing too. I don't know. Anyway, we see.
I feel like, well, I guess this would have been before, but like I feel like a lot of them now are just ripping off like the Jurassic Park thing where you find out they're like,
Yeah.
shit, I just lost the term.
Like asexual.
Yeah,
They're altered to be quote unquote female so that they can't reproduce. But
I don't know. I mean, I think they established Godzilla as a pretty hunky boy in the most recent runs. They definitely, he gave off some alpha vibes, if you will.
Look,
Fuck, that's a term in those fucking movies. God damn it, I'm such a fucking nerd.
if they don't show
Mark.
Godzilla's dick, I don't believe it.
yeah, I agree with that. Not that I want to see it, but Nathan wants to see
I
it.
do.
I want
Yeah.
that. I want that for Nathan and Kit. Yeah.
So according to this website, what is this called? Zero Star Cinema. This is like an old blog spot. I fucking love this. When was this posted? September 20th, 2016. Jesus Christ, that was like forever ago. The dinosaur is a man-sized inflatable moved by stop motion. It's held by hand to keep it in place, and the hand is usually visible. I actually didn't like notice the hand unless we're talking about like the gloved hand that's like touching the head, but it's not clay. It's like a weird, I don't even know how to describe it. Like soft ceramic sack.
That's weird because like it looks like clay.
If it's an inflatable, that makes sense.
Yeah, the stop if it's stop
like,
motion, yeah.
Like a big pool toy.
I don't know.
It doesn't make him any less unfortunate looking.
I'm like looking at pictures of him though, and it's weird because it has that like very clay looking texture to it.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what the fuck she at the end. Yeah. Okay. Spoiler alert. At the end of the movie, you find
Rexana
out.
Is the name at the end.
I hate that. I hate that so much. Anyway.
Chuck E. Cheese. There was a thing at Chuck E. Cheese's that looked kind of like this, I think. Right?
I honestly can't remember anything about Chuck E. Cheese other than like the ball pit.
Yeah, there's like a weird purple hairy dinosaur that looks a little bit like Ganjasaurus Rex.
It's weird because like full body shots or whatever, like I could kind of see it being inflatable, but when they have like the close-ups of the face,
yeah, I don't like it.
The face looks very much like clay.
It's bizarre.
The video quality.
I'm not convinced this is a real movie, and we aren't just all like hallucinating right now.
That was exactly my Letterboxd review.
I think I don't know. Anyways, we see I called our main character Ganja. So we see Ganja kind of like.
I called it G-Rex, but I like old Ganj. Kind of like sticking out of the water and going like the noises that Ganja made. What it sounds like. There was this like one part where Ganja starts like sniffing and it's like, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, kind of just popping out of the water, going like, and it's like the title already. So we're introduced to two of our main characters, Cloud and Frank, and they're brothers, and they are surveying land in the forest, and basically they're like going to plant weed plants like out in this forest, and Frank is really hard pressed about it because he's broke and he needs the farm to like work out or whatever. He's like, I've borrowed all this money, I need this to work out. And then Cloud is like, relax, my brother, you borrowed money from me, like it's all gonna work out, don't worry about it. They talk about seeds for a while. I feel like whenever Cloud and Frank are talking, they're like monologuing. So there's a lot of like talking in this movie that really kind of doesn't mean anything. So
I don't know if I could tell you a single line of dialogue that happened in this entire movie. Anytime
some of the worst acting I've ever seen.
Ganjasaurus Rex wasn't on screen, I was checked out.
I gotta say, kind of lack of Ganja, if you ask me. There wasn't in this a lot.
I mean, I feel like there was more than I expected, because most of the time these movies will be like just tease glimpses, but then not show him until like the last 10 minutes, and he pops up pretty quickly, but it's just the same 30 seconds of footage reused over and over and over again.
Yeah. So they're basically talking about this seed, and Cloud is like, don't worry, I got this genetically modified like miracle seed, and it's going to give us 50 pounds of weed to sell. And Frank is like, okay, cool. So Cloud then shows Frank his meditation rock, and they feel vibrations from the ground, but we hear growling, but like literally somebody going like, roar.
Yeah, he's hawking a loogie.
I literally wrote, what the fuck are these sounds?
I have a lot of questions to the consistency of Ganjasaurus Rex if they thought they were sitting on a rock.
Yeah. Don't know.
He does not look like a rock when he is like, around.
He looks very soft and all the time.
And round. Yes.
And I feel
I'm
like
like,
smooth
dude,
enough because they gave no definition to him that he would you just like slip off.
I'm kind of just
Like-
mad that the filmmakers thought that the audience was going to be dumb enough to think that, like, you know, a gravelly hill was a dinosaur's head. Like, really?
Also, there's also not like missing land at all. You know what I mean? Like if you think
When he
about the
leaves.
idea, yeah, it's just like the rock is gone. And I'm like, what part that anyway, I don't know. Yeah, so they meditate or whatever. And then we meet Honey, and I don't know if his name was Moss or Mouse.
I think it was
sounded
Moss.
like she said Moss, but the subtitles said Mouse, but the subtitles weren't great, so I called him Moss. So we meet Honey.
You watch this with subtitles?
I tried to, yeah.
That was a mistake.
It was not
YouTube's
great.
auto-generated subtitles are the
Oh,
worst.
they're so bad. They're so bad. Honey is doing science, and she is making a sprouting solution, and her and Moss kind of reminisce about how far their crops have come, because she's been developing the plants to look like giant redwood trees.
Oh, is that
instead
what
of-
was happening in this scene? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I remember when this came out, I
So-
was like, I just was like, what the fuck?
It's weird because like she has these seeds. So like when they're talking about seeds, they're talking about I'm not like trying to explain this to you specifically, but they're when they're talking about seeds, they're talking about like seeds for the marijuana plants, but they're fucking huge. They're like the size of like
Coconuts.
a grapefruit. Like they're huge, right? And she's like, these are
That's a good
3
weed.
seeds, and I sold one to Cloud, and
God damn it.
so she's like
Fucking
she's genetically altered these marijuana plants to grow and look like huge redwood trees, which like
Oh,
I
convenient.
don't think, surprisingly, I don't think that this is a possible thing. But anyways, they're trying to do it because they're like it's illegal at this point, obviously, to grow and smoke and have weed about. And so they're trying to mask it because like every year the government comes and like does raids on the land or whatever. Okay. So yeah, so she's got like these huge ass seeds, and they're like, yeah, cool. And then they kind of talk about like going legit, but Honey is like, there's no jobs here, so we can't really do that. And then Moss is like, yeah, I love money, but I hate greed. And I was like, I mean, same, Moss, honestly.
I just want to say I didn't catch any of this when I watched.
Well,
I honestly forgot they were human beings in this movie.
Oh, you couldn't make them
The
out?
Ganjasaurus.
They didn't. It didn't help that, like, you know, the quality of this made everybody look like they were made out of like fucking beige clay, like, and they just got like
oh my
mushed.
God, I know.
Like everyone's just fuzzy.
It's very fuzzy. I also want to point out
unreal.
that
the weed.
Honey
It's
has
the
a
weed.
mullet. Yeah, okay, so Honey and Moss are going to go check out a site to, plant, and they put on camo and a bunch of face grease for some reason, and they go into the woods. They are lost for a while, and there's also loud banjo music playing. Like,
The
anytime they do
music is
anything,
amazing in this movie.
it's bizarre, I would say. It's either like there's like this banjo music, then we were talking about how there's like also keyboard cat music, and then there's like weird like reggae type music. I'm not really sure what's going on, but
I would describe it as like white trash dungeon synth.
Okay, so then we see Cloud and Frank like moving bags of dirt around. Cloud stops to take a blunt break, and Moss and Honey scare them by pretending that they're the police, but they're just joshing. Honey says that this is not like the place that they chose to plant their seeds are not a very good place to plant, and Cloud says, oh, don't worry about it, it's a holy place because of the meditation rock. And then they do a prayer circle thing. I don't know really what's going on with that. Yeah, I was gonna say just a pray. They do a pray. I'm not I don't know a lot about praying, so I'm not sure the terminology here. Honey
I
and
want a
moss,
meditation rock. That's what I want.
a
A
real
big
one
old rock
or
to sit on, meditate.
I mean, we could
It
make
could be
that
yours.
happen.
Yeah.
Just once we sell all this
Subscribe to our
mayo we're gonna be doing.
subscribe to our Patreon and we'll send Kit a rock in the mail.
We'll send Kit a rock. Just a big
We'll
rock
have-
shows up at your
Come
house.
on.
Honey and Moss leave and find the site. And I wrote, do sun stuff while Moss pretends to be a baby plant. I'm not really sure what was going on there. Then there's a montage of
What a
like
fucking sentence.
there's a montage of like all of them planting their weeds essentially. And then we cut to a very weird scene where it's like essentially just an anti-weed committee meeting, and we meet
Oh, this was
Sheriff
so
Firth.
hilariously stupid.
It was so we meet Sheriff Firth, who is the sheriff, obviously. We meet detective or whoever, Cromwell, who is like with the government or whatever, and then we meet Arlene, who I don't know, she's also there. And they basically just like talk about how like weed is bad and shit. And Cromwell is like, marijuana growers are an endangered species, and next year they'll be extinct. And everyone's like, woo! And they want like a drug-free society, and basically they're going to be the ones that are cracking down on weed growers and this, that, and the other thing.
Bunch of fucking
And it's all,
nerds.
yeah, it's very weird.
I love this
Honey-
attempt at like, you know, making fun of anti-marijuana organizations, but also it's just like so goddamn stupid and corny. Like they're clearly just reading their lines like right off screen. It's so remarkably bad. And like I was just convinced that like they cloned the sheriff to be the government guy. Like everyone, he just looks identical to him. He just had like a slightly longer mullet.
Yeah, and like it's like really obvious that they tried to make this movie funny, how like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is and stuff like that, but like the script just wasn't good because like Arlene has this thing where she says things where she has like slip of the tongue kind of things, and I can't think of an example right now, but she does it a lot. That like it's obviously supposed to be funny, but like it didn't get there for me, to be honest. I laughed out loud one time, and I'll tell you when we get to it, and it's so fucking stupid. It's like not even something I should have laughed at, honestly.
That checks out.
Honey and Moss are watching People's Court, and they find out that the government is starting to bust on the growers again, and Honey is like kind of freaking out and is like paranoid about them finding their land, obviously. Frank,
What does any of this have to
worried.
do with a giant dinosaur?
That's what I'm saying. There's just like so much like stuff around the
I will
actual
say
weed.
they put some fucking effort into trying to make a plot for this movie when literally all you needed was just
They
a
really
dinosaur
did.
stepping on people.
Yeah. Nobody even gets stepped on. Nobody even gets hurt. Except for, well, okay. So Frank is worried about the cops like busting them or whatever. And Cloud is just like, I don't care because I do daily affirmations. Let's do one. And they do an affirmation. Then we get shots of a helicopter flying around and like the government like busting weed farms kind of for a while. And this is where we see a close up of Ganja's nose smelling the weed, I guess. I wasn't really sure what was happening at this point, but basically, smelling the weed and emerging, and basically like the helicopters are hoisting out, like airlifting nets full of weed plants, and Ganja smells it and comes out and like grabs one from a helicopter. And I wrote rubber glove. This is very obviously somebody wearing a rubber glove grabbing a little miniature bag of weed.
It is no Tammy and the T-Rex. That movie will achieve dinosaur head and person hand and glove like no other film will. And this movie, despite coming out earlier, does not fucking do it.
This is literally like a like a glove that they used to wear to like wash dishes and stuff. It's just like a rubber glove. And I guess Ganja's eating the weed, which sure. So now we cut to I called him professor. I think he's supposed to be like a PhD something or other. But we cut to the professor talking about how there were these huge prehistoric plants like back in the day, and Ganjasaurus Rex would eat them, and it caused his brain to grow so big that he could have emotions.
That's what happened when I smoked weed.
So, and then basically he goes on to explain the plot of like a Godzilla movie. And that's what he's saying, why the Ganjasaurus Rex is extinct, I guess. And they're talking about how like humankind is pretty much just the same as like Ganja or whatever. And he predicts that Ganja will rise again. Cool.
Gas.
Cromwell attends the class and like kind
Little
of
of this makes
pretends
any
to...
sense.
I literally at this
no.
point still don't recognize any of this plot.
Wait, can we talk about the fact that like they just have these montages of FBI and police raids on marijuana farms set to like some fucking like bad protest music? Like I don't know if that's like a well-known song, but it just all of this just like feels so spectacularly on the nose.
Yeah, the songs are literally like, we just want to smoke weed and be happy, and you don't have a right to come in with guns and scare our kids. Like, that's the song.
And
I'm
I'm
like, what's going on
definitely
here?
just the director's white neighbor.
If I get time, I'll see if I can fucking put one of the songs at the end of the episode. I'll put
Okay, there was
whole
two
episode.
that were like,
honestly, I'll
glaringly
just put the
bad.
Ganjasaurus Rex theme song under the entire episode.
Every time one of us says Ganjasaurus, you have to play the entire theme.
Oh, I thought you were going to say take a drink, and I was like, well, I've been playing that game by myself since we started.
That's
Don't tempt me,
dangerous.
because I'll wait to edit this till I'm off on Thursday, and I'll do that.
Oh my god.
It's that YouTube video edit of Lord of the Rings, but every time you take a step, Sam says, "This is the furthest I've ever been from the Shire." So it's like fucking 18 hours long.
I want you to do it, but replace us saying Ganjasaurus Rex with like him going, like his making noises.
Nathan's just gonna like
knows
isolate that
what's
now and
happening.
drop it in sporadically.
Yeah, I'm just
so
gonna
you're
do
just hammered by like 20 minutes.
The
in.
audio of me.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna do your audio. Katie,
Replace all of the laughs.
I need you to know that I looked up this crocodile movie on Letterboxd, and a bunch of the reviews were just like, this movie's got child nudity in it.
Is it? Oh God! Is it Roller Gator?
No, Katie got me this DVD of like, I don't know, 6 aquatic creature movies for Christmas, and one of them is a movie called Croczilla, but actually is entitled $1 Million Crocodile. And I had it on in the background.
Cool name for a film.
It's way better than Croczilla, I gotta say. But like,
Yeah.
I looked up at one point and I was like, I'm pretty sure there's just a naked like 8-year-old on screen.
Oh no!
They definitely show just a naked 8-year-old like swimming in the water.
That's a little older than I would say is appropriate.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm dialing my. I'm calling up all the anti-pedophile people rallying around the world right now to report you, Nathan.
That's fine. QAnon can come after me.
Jeez. Wow.
Gonna have MGT on your ass.
They're gonna yell at me for supporting communist
Machine Gun
Japan,
Kelly?
I guess.
Communist Japan.
Oh no, this is China, so
French
yeah, they could come
poster
after me.
for-
Yeah.
The
It's
French
fine.
poster for $1 Million Crocodile is a winner.
It rules, and it has nothing to do with the rest of this movie. Crocodile is literally not much bigger than a regular crocodile.
It's just a normal crocodile, but no one knows what to do with
And
it.
basically, it's like
Ah, shit!
it's literally a crocodile that's like maybe like a foot longer than like the crocodiles in Crawl.
I mean, that's still a very large animal.
I mean,
but,
yes,
like,
it's not.
I feel like
It doesn't deserve the Zilla title at the end.
Oh, yeah, no.
you could still stab it in the head, I think.
I'm
And
always
its terror.
marveled when nobody has the just straightforward knowledge of like, you know what? I realize this is bad, but like really, it's just a big, slow animal. I'm gonna walk up and shoot this thing in its head, and it will be dead. And the story has been, resolved.
We could get a gang of people with lawnmowers and surround it, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, literally. We have 500 cops in our town of like 3 people. They'll be able to kill it. Oh, they did.
That's what
For
they
some
should
reason,
have
they have
done.
rocket launchers.
That's what they should have done in
Somehow the
Halloween
crocodile
Kills, is
got a
just
rocket
get on
launcher.
their lawnmower. Wow.
No, it got 500 rocket launchers all at the same time.
I'm in. I'd watch that movie.
I am trademarking Rocket Croc.
Rocket Croc.
All right, are we done with Ganjasaurus Rex?
No.
All right.
We're not
And
actually
I wanna
even
talk
that
about
far
Rocket
into the
Croc.
movie. Don't give away your
Hell,
secrets.
there's
Someone will
nothing
steal
happens
it.
in it.
Well, no, I said don't give away the secrets of Rocket Croc.
Yeah.
Keep that to yourself for now.
TM.
Okay.
TMing
Cromwell-
Rocket Cock.
Ew,
That's a very
there's
different
no
film.
way that's not a thing. There's no way that's not a thing.
No, it definitely
Google
is.
it. Google it.
I am not Googling it.
Okay, so Cromwell attends the professor's class pretending to be a student, and he asks like the professor's assistant, whose name I don't know, and his daughter out for dinner to like talk about the research. And this is the scene I laughed at because everyone else orders soy burgers with carrot juice. Gross. I mean, not carrot juice, but like, I don't know. I don't know, whatever. But then Cromwell orders coffee, and she's like, what kind of coffee do you want? And she like lists all of these like different kinds of coffees, and then he's just like, you got Folgers coffee crystals, which made me laugh really hard because it's just like fucking instant coffee, and I don't know why I like laughed out loud. It's not funny, I told you, but Folgers coffee crystals, I don't know. Cromwell tells everybody that he is actually with the government. He's not going to join their department and the professor's like really broken up about it, but he's just like, oh no, I'm with the government, and I actually want to I want to give you money to fund your research and stuff because there's been a sighting of the Ganjasaurus Rex, and the professor's like really stoked or whatever. Then we see Ganja eating more weed, and we see like news articles and like TV specials about Ganja. And then we see a scene where people are taking tips at a call center where you call 1-800-MONSTER to report stuff.
I wonder if that line's still active.
Give it a try. Somebody tries
I hope
to
it
call
is, just in case.
and give like
You never
an
know.
alien, like a UFO sighting, and this lady is like, we only care about weed, and like hangs up or something. Very stupid. Cromwell is mean to the sheriff about killing Ganja and demands some American boys to pilot helicopters. Also, like, Cromwell essentially just wants to nuke Ganja, and the sheriff is like, no, like, that's not cool. But he doesn't care. Honey, Moss, Cloud, and Frank watch the news and see Ganja and are worried that Ganja is going to destroy their plants. And so Frank and Cloud go to check on their like crops or whatever. And this is when Cloud notices that his meditation rock is missing. There's a very who's on first scene about this fucking meditation rock that wasn't a rock missing. And it's like, it's very stupid. Because then Cloud realizes that it wasn't a rock at all. It was Ganja. Again, have no idea what part of Ganja this is supposed to be. And he's basically saying that the reason that their plants grew so well there is because Ganja was breathing on them and keeping them warm.
Yeah, it's science.
Sure. Cromwell tells the sheriff that they have identified the weed plants that look like tall trees, and they're going to go see the professor because their plan is to get a recording of Ganja's calls, essentially, so that they can lure it into the ocean. I don't really know what they think is stopping Ganja from just turning around and like coming out from the ocean whenever they please, but whatever. This is the plan. There is some very
all those rocket launchers.
Yeah.
There's some very long footage of the military walking around the woods and like finding weed plants and destroying weed plants. This is like where we get the footage of like with the timestamps and shit on it and like the protest songs or whatever. Honey and Moss are basically their house is raided. We see them like hiding in the woods and like talking about how the feds like kicked in their door or whatever, and they're scared. Honey is sad because they can't propagate any of the strain that she has created, and they're going to have to move back to the city and get jobs. Hate to see it.
They should not do it. Jobs are bad.
Yeah. They see that the plants are burning. So the government's idea to get rid of the plants was to set them on fire. Smart. Honey wants to go down there and say goodbye. So Cromwell is like having a press release basically about how they found all the plants and they're like burning the plants or whatever. And he says marijuana has been clinically proven to lead to other crimes like murder, mayhem, and invasion of paying taxes. And I was like, clinically proven to lead to not paying your taxes? Sure. But also everyone's like inhaling the smoke. Ganja is in the water, screeching and whatnot, and sniffs the smoke fumes from the burning weed plants. This is where I wrote, Ganja's got some junk in the trunk.
Yeah.
Ganja has a big old booty.
Ganja's thick.
Big old booty.
3 C's.
Yeah.
This is when I should have realized that
Ganja looks like it has some back problems, too.
Ganja is that's just because Ganja's BBH.
Yeah. Ganja's got that fucking hourglass figure.
Yeah, Ganja's got that yummy, so to speak.
It's not a phrase I ever expected to hear you say. Okay, so Ganja is like leaving the water and like coming towards the smell in the mountains, and so of course Ganja is like walking through the town. So we see various townspeople like getting scared and running, and like
this scene was kind of funny.
Ganja wasn't actually shown in the town at all. It was just like people looking at the sky and running. And I lied. I did laugh a second time, and it's when somebody is in their car, sees Ganja, gets out, runs, like screams and runs away, and then someone else screams and like gets into the car and drives away. Like that was pretty funny. But I mean,
just admit you loved this movie.
I didn't though. I liked those 2 scenes, and they weren't even that funny. They were a brief reprieve from all the other jokes not being funny. So Honey and Moss see Ganja. There's just a scene of them seeing Ganja and running away. Cromwell calls to tell the professor that there's been a sighting. Like tells
oh my god,
the professor like where Ganja is, and there's like a weird montage of them like packing the truck or the car.
What
to, like,
was this
go.
music? It was like carnival music from hell.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of this was, because then also there's like during the montage the car breaks down and they have to hitchhike, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Frank and Cloud are like hanging out. Frank says that he wants to harvest the plants essentially. But then Honey and Moss come and tell them about like their plants being burned, and that Ganja was crying over the weed being burned.
Same.
Cloud wants to save Ganja from being nuked, and Frank is like, no, you can't, you'll get stomped on, and they wrestle or whatever. Then there's just like 5 straight minutes of Frank fucking freaking out. And I feel like this guy just like ad-libbed all of his like lines, because he just like I don't know. What he said was like nonsensical. He was like freaking the fuck out too.
I think he was actually just having a panic attack from smoking too much weed, and they recorded him.
I mean, that checks out. Frank and Honey leave. They're like, I know what I gotta do, and they leave because they're going to cut the plants down, I guess. I don't know what's going on there. Meanwhile, Cloud is running around calling for Ganja, like running around the fields, like Ganjasaurus Rex. And
I just like that. They just know that's the name.
Well, they were saying some kind of like longer, like
like
scientific
scientific
name or whatever. Yeah,
Herbivorous Ganjasaurus Rex or whatever.
Yeah. So basically what happened is that Frank went to go cut a fucking huge nug. This is like, it's like the size of a baby. It's fucking huge. He basically goes go down to talk to the sheriff about how Ganja loves the smell of their weed. So they should use the weed to lure Ganja away from the city and back into the water. And he's brought a cooler which has the weed in it. Cromwell comes out and immediately tries to arrest Frank, but then realizes that he can use him instead. And Frank tells him the story of how, of everything that's happened in the movie, essentially. The professor comes in with the recording at that point and sees the weed and is just like, oh, wow, this is so cool. This is actually an extinct version of the weed, and this is Ganja's favorite. I'm so excited.
This is exactly how I responded the first time I saw weed.
This is
oh
cool.
My God.
Arlene says that she thinks it would be a good idea to use the helicopter to take the weed out into the water and lure Ganja away into the water, essentially. Cromwell was like, that's a stupid idea. And then Frank's like, no, it's a good idea. That's why that's what I came down to say or whatever. So they're going to do that. Honey and Moss watch Ganja, and Frank comes and is like, I haven't seen Cloud since yesterday. Maybe he got stepped on. He's probably dead. Then they go through all of these other scenarios as to what happened to him. He got hit by a car or whatever, and land on, no, he probably got stepped on. So then it cuts to everybody doing the plan, essentially. They have a helicopter that has the weed, and it's going out to the ocean. Ganja grabs the weed from the helicopter and it's out to sea, but isn't actually just going out and disappearing or whatever. So Cromwell is going to do the nukes instead, and he says, get those missiles or wrecked. And I was like, goodness gracious. But the sheriff is like, no, you promised that we would use the recorded calls as a plan B or whatever. So they do that, but then that doesn't work either. And so Cromwell picks up the phone to do the nukes again, but the sheriff punches him out. Then Cassandra, who is the professor's daughter, is haven't you guys realized that Ganja is actually not a he, Ganja is a she? And they're like, oh yeah, it makes so much sense. Then the assistant is like, you're so smart, I love you, and they kiss, and then they show them dancing in a field together, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Fun.
Yeah, just getting high, having fun.
A good old time,
I guess. So the professor changes the frequency of the Ganja calls, and so now Ganja is responding to the recording and returns to sea. I don't understand how this was a thing, but this is it. Everyone cheers and is happy. There is a party where everybody is smoking weed and having a good time.
What event was this used to film it? Do you think it was someone's confirmation?
I don't know. There was a lot of white people dancing, though,
I would
it was so weird.
So what I need is, I don't know, Severin to re-release this with a 3-hour documentary on the making of this movie.
Yeah.
I had to run to the bathroom, but did you talk about the kiss scene?
Yes, I literally just did.
Kiss was in this
movie?
Okay.
Oh my
I
God,
just wrote,
can
what
you
the
imagine?
fuck? Oh God, it would be truly unbearable.
It's just Ganjasaurus Rex Scooby-Doo episode, and Kiss just shows up.
Did you
Did
you watch the credits?
I did. I honestly don't remember anything that the dinosaur wasn't in.
I will tell you some quick notes about the credits. This movie had 10 writers.
What?
Yeah.
Well, to get
There
all
were
the
10 people.
Got to make sure to get all the weed stuff accurate.
Yeah.
That's true.
Part of the live music for the party scene was courtesy of the greatest band named ever, Eggly Bagleface.
Yeah, that checks out.
I love that.
I'm going to say it again because it's awesome. Eggly Bagleface.
Eggly.
Amazing.
Eggly.
I typed in EGGL and Google auto finished it.
Oh
Nice.
no.
Incredible.
Oh, well, they're not on Spotify, so.
Some
Bummer.
special thanks names include G-Dub, Alex, and Sprouts. So I'm like, is that Alex and like a funny named pet, or is that like Alex and a bunch of sprouts that you could get from the market?
I bet you it's the
Beginnings,
name of his weed business.
probably. It was lowercase though, so that's what made me laugh.
Oh.
John and Orange Cat. So I'm assuming that John has an orange cat. Eddie Sincere, Papa Bear, and Honey Bear Fun. Phun. I can't read my notes. Also, they had the audacity to put a fucking FBI warning at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
There was one in the beginning
Amazing.
too.
Yes, there was.
A really long
If any
one.
movie deserves to not be pirated, it's Ganjasaurus Rex.
It's this.
It's this only
Y'all.
available on YouTube version of Ganjasaurus Rex.
So, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Ganjasaurus Rex.
Perfect.
Perfect. Better than the best Godzilla movie.
We're not even done with the movie.
Kit, what were you saying?
No.
You getting ready to say?
I have found the 1987 demo of Eggly Bagleface.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
12 minutes of rockin' tunes.
I'm in.
12 minutes?
Yeah, including Thinking of You, Gonna Make It Happen, Rubber Covered, and Hot Tamale.
No, sir. Mr. Bagleface.
I'm
I
in.
don't think so.
Oh, this is on YouTube?
Yeah. They've got a link to a download.
Oh, I know what I'm putting in this
you're going to
episode.
get like 85 different kinds of malware.
Okay, we're almost done though. So basically, yeah, everyone's having this like weird party.
Bagelsically?
Good job, Kit.
Okay,
There we go. Get it
all
going.
right. So yeah, imagine white people dancing.
Keep going. Just that-
Um,
Add some
I can't
Eggly
even hear
Bagleface
myself
background.
talk over that. Okay, yeah. Somebody who introduces themselves, but I didn't write their name down, comes in and talks to the professor, saying that they just wanted to make sure that the movie doesn't violate Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
So-
it was Takashi from DC, and this was kind of funny. I said this isn't far from the truth because Toho, Godzilla's production company, is astronomically aggressive with their legal procedures regarding that trademark.
I don't blame them because look at this shit.
I saw something about I think somebody in one of the reviews talking about how they just couldn't fathom how they got away with actually saying Godzilla in this movie.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm going to
That's
assume
what the
nobody
$80
but
was
us
for.
has seen this movie. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, how many views does it have on YouTube?
Besides the 100 people
176
who,
other people.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that, like we said, is the people who were in the movie. So those people and then us four. So then we see Frank. Frank is sad because Cloud is gone. And Honey is like, oh, don't worry. Before the cops came and raided all of the weed, I took some snips of the lower branches. So at least you'll have money now. And everything is okay. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, that's great. I'll split it with you 50-50 for you guys, 50-50 for me and Cloud. And then he's just like, oh, Cloud. Then they go outside and they find Cloud running towards them in a field.
This was so
and
weird.
Frank is like, yeah, and so Frank and Cloud slow-mo run towards each other, and they're about to hug, but then Cloud screeches like Ganja, and like fake attacks Frank, and then Frank screeches like Ganja. I'm so confused. I don't know what the fuck was happening here.
Makes sense.
But
to
then
me.
it's finally the end. Like what?
I'm telling you, 5
Also, what
stars.
was he-
Perfect movie.
Yeah.
What was he
My-
doing for
My
like,
comment for this was,
days?
"What in the Christ is happening?"
Yeah, I just wrote, I'm confused. I don't know what that ending was. Anyways, it's fucking over.
That's how I'm gonna like say hello to Nathan when I meet him in real life.
I think I'm gonna legally change my name to Eggly Bagleface.
Is it not copyrighted?
I mean, you can change it. You can't copyright a name, I don't think.
Just take one of the
I
G's
think you
out.
can.
I don't know. Twitter was banning people for changing their name to Elon Musk, so.
Why would
RIP
anyone want to
Italian
do that,
Elon
though?
Elon Musk tweeted some shit a while ago. People just started changing their handles to Elon Musk, and Twitter was like suspending them for suspicious activity or some bullshit.
That's so stupid.
Impersonating.
Oh my god.
Impersonating
I'm
the
making a
world's
spaceship.
coolest
Oh.
person.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyways, that was it.
Great movie. If anybody wants to give me $300 to buy a VHS copy, please do. My birthday's coming up.
Let's crowd search it. Crowdsource.
Crowd search.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll have a lot of
Crowd
people
search.
find the same link.
We'll search for a crowd that will give us the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. News.
I only saw 2
Eggly
newses.
Bagleface reunion tour.
Please. Please. Like, Sacred Bones, you released that fucking Jeremiah Sand soundtrack. Let's get this Eggly Bagleface demo on vinyl.
I heard they're gonna headline Maryland Death Fest.
They probably will once every other band has to cancel
final
because of fucking
performance.
COVID.
Wow.
What was your news, Katie?
My first news is that they're making
shit.
they're making a movie based off of the store Spirit Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my
I just
god. With Christopher Lloyd, right?
You had Rachel... Is it Rachel McAdams is in it or something?
No,
Not McAdams.
she's got 3 names. Rachel Lee Cook.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
right. Yes,
is
from
her
She's
name?
All That.
Hilarious. I can't even imagine. It made a little bit more sense to me when I realized that it's like for children. It is based on like a group of middle schoolers or whatever. Makes a lot more sense. But all I'm gonna say is like it didn't work when they made Battlefield or Battleship a movie.
Disagree.
So I don't really know. Did you watch that movie?
No.
It's not good. It's
like
surprisingly very
number
bad.
one,
Not surprisingly.
I've never been in a Spirit Halloween that had kids in it. It's always just weird adults that just, I don't know, spend all their time there when it's open. So making that for kids is a terrible idea.
Yeah. So we'll see. Anyways, that comes out this October for your children.
Some news, there's a new David Lynch movie, and then also more news, there's not a new David Lynch movie.
Well, yeah, you decide. It's like a pick your own. You decide if there is one or
Holy
not.
shit, maybe David
up
Lynch
to you.
is directing a choose your own adventure movie.
But it's like really meta.
Yeah.
He's like actually like, I don't know. You can decide if it's real or if it's not real. And if you
That's
decide
what
it's
I'm
not
saying.
real, then you can fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean,
What if he's directing the Spirit Halloween movie?
I mean, that's the only way you're gonna
I
get me to
would
watch
be really
it.
into
So.
that. Yeah. They are also making a live action series adaptation of Casper, but it is, like Casper the Friendly Ghost, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. But they're
Isn't
going
that already
to make
live
it...
action?
No, a series.
Oh yeah.
Oh, a series. Oh, all right. Excuse me.
They're actually gonna kill a child to make it a ghost for the.
It's the dark, gritty reboot.
Yeah.
They're gonna show Casper get shot through the head.
I want them to remake the series, but bring in now Devon Sawa and pretend like he is the 10-year-old.
He has
Casper.
to play 10-year-old.
Yes.
The only way.
Like I want them to remake the ending of the movie, but it's like now Devon Sawa.
The only way.
And then he was just like, "Just kidding, I'm not a child."
The only way they could do that is if they get John Travolta to play Casper, but he has to do it in his like the fanatic portrayal.
I don't even know. I can't.
Where he I forget what he is afflicted with or whatever in the fanatic, that he's like just does this obscenely like offensive. Fuck, I have to look it up. I can't remember what he's supposed to have, but he's like playing like mentally challenged. And he's just like, like it's like very, very offensive portrayal of it. And he's like, I did it because my kid has this, and I wanted to make this something my kid would be proud of. And I'm like, oh no.
Yikes.
And then,
Wow.
you know, Fred Durst directed it, so
Well,
5 stars as well.
Yeah, so they're basically not really sure what this is going to be because it's like, you know, just new, but it's supposed to be like a horror adventure, so it's going to have like a darker spin, kind of like how they did like when they did Riverdale for Archie, where they made it like about murder and shit. So I don't know how dark it's going to be, but that could be interesting, I guess. I'm not really sure. Then I saw that Cursed Films season 2 is, as we're recording this, out on Shudder. And so if you're interested in The Wizard of Oz, Rosemary's Baby, The Serpent and the Rainbow, Stalker, or Cannibal Holocaust, then this season is for you.
The episode Lori and I recorded on Erotic Nights of the Living Dead and Porno Holocaust that comes out next week, something like that. It comes out after this episode at some point. We were talking about how that's what, like, Cursed Films needs to give up on this, like, Wizard of Oz and all this shit and just start digging into, like, Porno Holocaust and how somebody thought the idea of a horror movie with actual sex in it was a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Cursed
there's
Films,
like
Ganjasaurus Rex.
I mean,
Thankfully, there was no
honestly,
sex in this movie.
Honestly, that
Like-
could have made it a 6-star movie. 6 stars out of
I
5.
feel like
The Ganjasaurus
some
Rex
of
fucked.
the movies that they cover are like legit, like, wow, that's kind of weird and creepy, like weird coincidences, but some of them are really stretches. Like a lot of the stuff that they were talking about for like The Exorcist, I was like, no.
I mean, The
not-
Exorcist is one of those ones that's like renowned for having like, you know, people die while making them, you know, an absurd amount of people dying while making the movie and shit like that. But
They're like, they died in a car accident. I'm like, yup, that happens every day. Anyways, I've never heard anything. The only thing I've ever heard about Wizard of Oz was like that rumor that somebody like hung themselves, which turned out to not be true. So I'm not really sure what else. I mean, we'll see.
I
Anyway.
remember that.
I'll end up
Yeah.
watching it because I like the first
I will
season,
too.
but like I'm gonna wait till it's all out. I think they're doing weekly drops, and fuck that. I'll wait.
The last thing that I saw is not really news. I mean, like it is news, but it's not really. But apparently in each episode of Moon Knight, they are hiding a QR code that if you scan it with your phone, it like leads you to like free digital comics.
Oh yeah, I saw something about that.
For Werewolf by Night, and I haven't tried. I literally saw it like right before we got on, and I just watched the second episode yesterday, and I remember seeing the code, but like, why would I? I'm not, like, why would I do that? And I was like, that's actually like such a cool idea, because they're releasing that like Werewolf by Night special later this year, and so they're like kind of doing it to prime for that, which I think is so cool. So I think I'm gonna go back and like. I don't remember seeing one in the first episode, so I'll have to rewatch it. But
They need to do a Werewolf by
very
Night
cool.
series instead.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I don't know what all they're gonna do with the special, but hopefully that it'll they're like, I don't know, pleased enough with the support that they'll do one. But I don't know. We'll see.
All right. What everybody watch this week? Dylan, you watch anything good?
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff that I've been kind of like writing down since the beginning of the year, and I'll try to do them in like my best Nathan type reviews. Real quick though, fun fact: I was in a QR code for in a Marvel comic book once because I interned there, and I read some fan mail in a video, and it's pretty stupid.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember what issue it is, but somebody texted me one time, was just like, "Hey, I like hit the QR code, and all of a sudden you were on my phone." And I was like, "Yep."
That's really weird.
Yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, I watched a bunch of movies. So I watched Knife Plus Heart. That's fucking fantastic.
That movie's great.
I finished Curb, Primal, and The Righteous Gemstones. All those are great. You should watch the Primal just for the zombie dinosaurs. It's fucking awesome. I watched the Malice at the Palace documentary on Netflix. Very good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely watch it if you are not familiar with it. I rewatched Hereditary, perfect movie. I watched Henry, Portrait of the Serial Killer. That movie is fucked up, but really good. I watched Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that movie's so good.
I watched Poltergeist 2. I thought The Worm was cool, but the movie I thought overall was pretty like whatever.
There's no Poltergeist movie worth watching past the first one.
I love the first one. I rewatched Battle Royale. Thought that held up very well. I watched Batman Forever. That movie fucking sucks.
Disagree.
I watched Batman.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm not a fan, but I love Batman and Robin. That movie fucking rules.
Yeah.
I watched The Road for the first time. That movie's depressing as hell, but it was very
That
good.
movie's fucking bleak.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like the last good one of those kinds of movies, too, I feel.
The score to it's also incredible.
Yeah. It's funny because my dad got a bootleg of that, and I tried watching it, and it started like 25 minutes into the movie and was like, it was very zoomed in, and I said, I'm not watching this, and luckily it was like streaming on something. I watched The Cell. That was really good. I watched Cube for the first time. That movie is fucking insane, but I thought it was pretty fun.
All of the Cube movies rule.
That one dude has like the craziest eyes. I watched all of the old and intermediary Spider-Man movies, and that is quite a spectrum of films. I watched RoboCop again with Sarah. Perfect.
Yeah.
I've watched all of the Demons movies minus Dark Tower, and overall really liked them. I'll just run through it really quick. Like Demons 1 rules. Demons 2 was good. Ogre was like, fine. I'm sure if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard Nathan and Katie talking about them. The Church, pretty great. That movie, I swear, that movie must have pilled people. Like that, this is what people think like is happening in the world.
You skipped over the best one, Black Demons.
Oh no, I was getting to that one, and it's not good. I'll let you figure out why. The Sect, Demons 4, also rules. Devil's Veil, not bad, but good visuals. The sixth one has like 4 titles. Demon 6, De Profundis, Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat, Armageddon.
God, I can't fucking wait to get to The Black Cat.
Very flawed, but I really enjoyed it. Cemetery Man was fantastic. I really liked that movie. I love how in that movie there's like I don't know if you've gotten to it yet, but like the opening riff is just the opening riff from Hellraiser by Ozzy over and over again.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's really weird. And I watched Demonia or New Demons by Fulci, which I thought was like fine. It was, it was interesting. I thought the first half was a little bit better. Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, amazing, loved it. Alligator,
I am
perfect.
Of the mind that I think Hellraiser 2 is better than Hellraiser.
I don't know. I mean, I really do like the first one a lot, but there's a lot that just succeeds so much more in Hellbound. Like,
I just
it was really good.
I just love the fuck it, we're going for it kind of like aspect of 2, where they just make it as weird as possible.
Yeah, and you got Gorman from Aliens going weird. Yeah, Alligator's fantastic. I didn't get the new release of it. I got a Korean import of it. A friend of mine got it for me as a birthday present, I think. It's copyrighted to Alligator Associates. Thought that was funny. Venom 2. Loved Venom 2. Thought it was great. I watched Uzumaki after you talked about it. Thought that was like pretty cool overall. Then I watched a bunch of Fulci movies. I watched City of the Living Dead, House by the Cemetery, and New York Ripper, which I like the New York Ripper the most out of all of those. I think I'm just like kind of like I appreciate all those Fulci flicks, but they like kind of didn't hit me like the way I don't know. I think I'm not like entirely I'm good with a vibe sort of viewing. Like I think they're interesting and cool films, but I think I like The Beyond the most out of all those.
I would probably agree. I think The Beyond is probably Fulci's best movie.
I don't know. I really like Zombie 2, and I thought The New York Ripper was great too.
I'm trying to think. I think The Beyond is his most, I guess I would say, like, accomplished movie. At least from like the horror aspects. He's done like a shit ton of like westerns and stuff that I haven't seen because I'm just kind of don't care about westerns, but I don't know, The Beyond like works really well. City of the Living Dead also very good.
I watched the director's cut of Midsummer. I prefer the theatrical cut, but I still love that movie. I went to go see The Batman. I don't know how many of you've seen it. I was not crazy about it, so I'll hold my tongue until then.
It's coming to HBO Max on the 18th, so I'm just gonna watch it then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be interested to see what y'all think about it because I wasn't crazy about it, but yeah, I kind of was like, all right, I'm moving on from this. Everybody was like really raptured by it for a little while, but then I watched a bunch of Evil Bong movies. They all fucking suck. That'll be coming out the same week that this comes out. I watched The Gorgon. I thought that was good. I watched The Condemned for a podcast, a wrestling podcast. That movie is fucking terrible.
How dare you? Steve Austin movies are all great.
Watched Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought it was like fine. I thought it was like the best of the 3 Spider-Mans though. I watched Near Dark. I wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah, I think Near Dark's totally fine. It just like I think it being sort of lost to the streaming ages for a long time made people like have this like false sort of praise of it. Like it's totally watchable, It's totally fine. It's not the masterpiece that everyone seems to think.
It's a really cool idea. I just think it's like not very well executed.
Like the bar scene in it is incredible. Like it's
it's great.
Like it's got these really great moments of like ensemble acting together. But then it's just, I don't know, like story-wise and everything else, it kind of like falls apart a little bit, but totally fine.
Yeah, unlike Chud, which I thought was fucking great.
Yeah, Chud. Chud
I watched this movie. Good. I watched this movie called The Vampire Moth, which is a Japanese horror movie from 1956, and I got it from that Etsy account that was selling some like rare.
Disappeared immediately after we bought movies.
Yes, and the subtitles on it were like, quite frankly, fucking awful, and I had to like just go read about this on Wikipedia to really make sense of it, and like it's I wouldn't say like I loved it, but it's a pretty interesting movie just to see like what Japan was doing in terms of horror at the time. I watched Fire and Ice, the Ralph Bakshi movie, which is like the second most heavy metal movie of all fucking time to Heavy Metal, and I really liked it. I watched Mazes and Monsters for Movies from Green Hell, and that movie is awful. And I watched Frisky Dingo, and I've been watching The Venture Brothers and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And
Frisky
Aqua Teen Hunger
Dingo
Force
rules so much.
Yeah, it's got some bad moments, but it's got some hysterical moments, and Aqua Teen is fucking great. I fucking love that show.
Yeah, Aqua Teen's pretty perfect.
So that's what I've been watching.
Kit, what you been watching?
Uh-oh.
Kit died.
Kit, you're broken.
Oh, did Kit leave?
R.I.P.
All right, well, you go, Katie.
I didn't really watch as much as Dylan. No, just kidding. I didn't really watch that much. We watched, what did I even watch? I think the only thing I watched was I rewatched Summer Rental, which is a John Candy movie that I remember from my childhood, and I still thought it was excellent. Then we finally watched the new Scream movie, which I won't really go into detail about. Obviously, I think people are like over it at this point, and you and I talked about it a lot. I am incredibly offended by something that happens in it, but overall, like, it was fine. Like, I think I'm one of the few people who genuinely just like loves every single one of them, and so it obviously wasn't. It didn't have that, like, I don't know. It was fine. I liked it for what it was. I don't know that I would just like rewatch it like I would the other ones though. Like, I would rewatch it if I did like a full rewatch, but I'm not just gonna like turn it on, I don't think.
It's just like, I don't know, like Wes Craven dying and then them being like, let's do another one, just kind of, I don't know. It doesn't, like, I'm not necessarily a fan. Like, we've talked about it a lot, like, not on the podcast, but like I like the first one, and the rest of them are like whatever, and the new one I thought was abysmal.
I think my thing is, like, I love the franchise so much that I feel like I would like it just because of that, but like it doesn't really feel like a Scream movie. Like, I didn't have that same feeling, even though they did bring back like some of the characters, and I don't know, it was like,
yeah, but ghosts now exist in the Scream universe, so
I mean, not technically, but I just feel like I don't feel like it added anything to the series, honestly.
It didn't. It was like the new Halloweens and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it's like essentially it's just a fucking cash grab to, like, because people were gonna go see it because they loved the other ones, and then watching people like
I waited until I could watch it for free.
Watching these people who like went to see it like 5 times in the theaters, like, progressively like it less, has been pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I get it. You loved it the first time because it's a Scream movie and David Arquette's back and Courtney Cox is back and whatever. And then the more you watch it, they're like, oh, well, this doesn't hold up as a plot. And also, why is there a Force ghost? And like, it's like, I don't know. I saw a lot of people too that were just like, this was fine. I don't understand why they're making another one.
Well, and like, for me, I feel like the intrigue from it for me came from how are they going to connect this to like the original characters, because like that's the whole point of like the series, and it's like obviously super meta and they had all of that stuff in it, and I guess I just really I wasn't super into, like, once they unveiled like who the main characters were, like how they were related to the story or whatever. I was just like, I don't know. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't feel like it added anything. But my problem for me, like, if we're talking about like all of these reboots, is that like I just thought the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween Kills were so bad that there just was no way that it was a series that I actually really care about coming out with like essentially the same thing was going to be worse for me, and it kind of made the other ones like even worse, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I felt like the opposite. Well, Scream and Halloween Kills are pretty, like, even for me. I thought Texas Chainsaw was somehow better than them, but that movie's pretty abysmal too.
I think for me, it goes Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween Kills. I thought Halloween Kills was like one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's up there.
Shockingly.
It's pretty bad.
I did not.
Anyways, yeah, no. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to say a lot about it, and then I kind of did. But, and then the only other thing I've been watching was we started this Hulu series called The Girl from Plainville, which is like a dramatized version of that girl who got convicted of like basically sort of like talking her boyfriend into like suicide. So it's like, it's got one of the Fanning girls in it, the younger one. And like a bunch of other people.
Was that her name?
Maybe it's not a Fanning.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I think it's L.
Either way, it doesn't matter. And it they do this thing a lot where like they start off with the boyfriend like already being dead, and then they do like flashbacks to like 2014 when they met, and then 2017, which is when everything happened. I think that's the right time. I'm not sure, but they like switch back and forth, but they just do not do it well at all. So sometimes I'm like, what year is it? Like, what's happening here? And so it's like a little hard to follow. And but I don't know. I guess I appreciate that they're not trying. I feel like they're not trying to make you feel bad for the girl.
Yeah.
But like,
sounds about right.
You kind of do, because she obviously has issues too. But anyways, I don't know that I would really recommend it, to be honest with you.
Kit, you there?
2 weeks in a row. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't last week. It was the week before last. Sorry.
All right. I don't know. I watched a bunch of Bruce Campbell movies. Let's see. I watched Maniac Cop 1 and 2, Bubba Hotep, Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, and Alien Apocalypse. I watched Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon, and Graffiti Bridge, because Prince is the best. I watched a movie called Dreamstalker, or like rewatched it. It's like a shot on video Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff. It slaps. Hard recommend. I also watched Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2. And then I watched a bunch of Nick Cage stuff. Mandy, Bringing Out the Dead, Con Air, Color Out of Space, Face Off, and The Rock. And then I finished all the Jackass movies. Because
nice. I still need to see the new one.
It's so good. It's so just like what it's the movie that should have come out in like May of 2020 that would have just saved everybody. Kit, I'm going to assume watch some wrestling.
Probably.
You tried to speak. You have to leave that little.
I was gonna say, yeah, it keeps just like you could tell it like up there.
It's like trying to breathe.
All right, shout outs, Katie.
I'm gonna shout out a Kickstarter, which is literally maybe only the second Kickstarter I've ever backed after
It's still not working, Kit.
Shout out. Shout out.
I'm here. After Carousel 2, that's like the first thing I ever backed, which seems crazy to me. But it is for a game that's called Puff Pals Island Skies, and it looks so adorable. It's like essentially a mix between Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, where you have a house that can be a pumpkin, and it's really cute, and you decorate it, but also you farm, but also you have adventures, and also everyone else that lives on your island is a really cute creature. But basically they just started a Kickstarter, and obviously they're like adding stuff to it. And as of our recording, literally today, the stretch goal was, so it was originally supposed to be just on mobile and PC, but it reached the stretch goal today that they're going to release it for the Switch, which was like my hope. And so it doesn't come out until 2024, obviously, because it's a Kickstarter, but highly recommend if you're into either of those games or like a cozy gaming or something, definitely kickstart it because it's only $20 to kickstart just the base level to get the game, which is like phenomenal with all the stuff that they're adding. And yeah, that's it.
All right, what about you, Dylan?
Well, I'm gonna do a shout out. I'm gonna do two, but one's got to go to Katie for doing some amazing artwork for my Patreon. So that's my internal shout out here because I love
not surprisingly weed related.
Not shockingly,
which is my brand. So.
I mean, you nailed it. So that's my first shout out there. My second shout out would be Absent Body, Plague God EP. Fucking amazing. Love it. Scott Kelly from Neurosis, two dudes from Amun-Ra, and I can never remember. I think it's Max Cavalera. Whoever, I think he's a drummer, right?
No, Max is the dad.
So it's Igor. So it's Igor.
I feel there's three of them because I know Max's son, and that's now in like bands as a drummer. But I know Igor was like the drummer of Sepultura. Who cares? It's a Calvera. It doesn't matter.
It's one of the Calvera. Anyway, the album is fantastic. It's really fucking cool. It's just brutal, ethereal music, and I don't know. I just imagine this is like what just a really fucking aggressive horror movie could benefit from having in its soundtrack. So it's Igor.
Yeah, makes sense.
Very cool. Yeah, really good. And it's not like super long because it's an EP, but it's heavy as fuck, and I really like it. And it's got an amazing album cover of like a dead squid man.
I don't know. Kayla and I have just been watching Real Housewives of New Jersey, and it's a fucking nightmare.
Shout outs New Jersey.
It's the everybody on this show is the worst person on earth.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And it's like we're in like 2012, and so everybody's just a fucking piece of shit. It's just, I don't know. It sucks, and I love it. It's like the worst, best show. All right, Katie, what are we doing next week? It's your pick.
I haven't decided.
Great.
It's going to be a surprise.
Great.
So I literally.
It'll be better than this.
So yeah, so we had kind of started talking about like what terrible thing we're gonna do for next month, and then I realized there was like a lapse.
Hold on.
Like we decided.
Kid said his shout out is Slamboree 97 with Cyclop. When Cyclop takes his mask off and it's Dean Malenko. Right. There you go.
Thanks, Kit.
I love that. Like it's just his idol square with this fucking like melancholy troll staring at all of us.
Well, I was like, I texted and I was like, Kit, are you coming back? And he's like,
I just saw a move.
Time.
Yeah, every time he goes to talk, it just like is like a static sound. So
yeah, sorry.
Shout out is straw bananas, whatever it was.
Oh, straw nana. Wait,
straw nanas.
I wrote it down. Straw nana, whatever. Yeah. So of course we had to do Ganjasaurus Rex for 420 week, and then the last week in April is my birthday week, and I was just like, oh, well, can I pick something? But I didn't have anything in mind, so I need to do some searching to see what's free that we can all watch, and because I had a few immediate ideas, but nothing's available, so it'll be a surprise to you, listeners.
Katie's just gonna text Kit and I a link and not tell us what it is.
You're not ever gonna know what the movie is.
Well, in between that, I might drop it later this week or like I don't know. I'll figure it out. But Lori and I Lori from Queer Horror Cult and I recorded an episode on Erotic Nights of the Living Dead and Porno Holocaust. Then, oof, the two most least sexy movies ever made. So,
oh yeah, Strong Nanny.
That'll technically be out next, but then we'll have an episode for Katie's birthday. Probably something weed related.
You know me.
Or something Matthew Broderick related.
Yeah, but I bet I can find something that's both. Dylan,
Jeez.
you will tell people where they can find you and all your shit.
Yeah, you can follow Diary of Doom if you want to hear interviews with bands and people associated with the doom metal scene and whatever. That's on Facebook, Instagram, diaryofdoom.podbean.com. It's on Spotify and Apple, wherever else you get podcasts from. And I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/diaryofdoom. And there's, if you subscribe to the top tier, you'll be able to get access to my recently launched horror movie sidecast, Movies from Green Hell, which will focus on films that are stoner comedies or stoner films or have some kind of tangential relationship to heavy metal. I think I think the episode will be it'll be out shortly after this episode that Nathan will be on the second episode where we tackled 3 more Evil Bong movies. Unfortunately, we'll revisit those travesties next year. There'll be another episode forthcoming in May with my friends in Doomsday Cult where we talk about mazes and monsters. So if you're looking for some like a new horror movie podcast you want to throw some bucks behind, you can check that out at patreon.com/diaryofdoom.
Yeah, I was on an episode came out last week, something like that, with Jeremy and John from Jeremy from our Slaw episode, and John who did our theme song, talking about Freaked,
his legacy,
the best movie.
Freaked. Perfect movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. Love that movie.
All right. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/IPSufferPodcast. Sometime right before this episode comes out, Katie and my episode on the church will be out. Merch at Storefront here. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes and Spotify and all that shit. Tell us what you think Kit watched this week in the review. Follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face. You can listen to my other podcast, Naked Movie Club. Apparently surprise on whatever we're watching next week. God, I hope it's not Casper.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
Dylan, thank you for watching Ganjasaurus Rex for some reason.
As Sarah said, certainly spending my time doing very smart things.
Yep. R.I.P. Kit. Pour one out to a real one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Pour one of Straw Mayonnaise out for him.
Yeah, just right on top of him.
Instead of dirt, we're gonna bury him in a pile of straw mayonnaise.
All right. I hope you strawberry banana mayonnaise, but why?
Shoot.